Hello and welcome back to Crew 42's coverage of the 2024 Michigan Professional State Championships. We're here at Earl Brewer Park for our round 2 lead coverage, and I have joining me on the mic Sam again. How we doing?
Hey, doing good, Zach. A little bit more wind today.
Yeah, correct. It is going to be more wind. We have some pretty tight race up at the front where you are sitting at currently 11 down, along with Luke Taylor, Andrew Marwede, and Ben sitting at -8. 3 strokes back of you guys. What do you like the wind here? Do you think that favors you? What are you thinking here?
I like the wind here. This is one of my home courses, so I'm very familiar with it. And you can have some swirling, kind of unpredictable winds. So having some experience at this course is very helpful.
Hole 1, par 3, 325. It's a forehand if you got it. Don't go early. That's my advice.
Don't go early. Don't go too straight.
And welcome to the second round of the Michigan Pro State Disc Golf Championships presented by Discraft. This is our final card, our lead card for the day. And leading us off, sitting at an 11 under par, is Sam Smigiel.
Looks like we have some sun. Nice day.
A little bit warmer because of the sun, but
Yeah,
it's windy. So
but it's windy, so it's colder.
So it doesn't help at all. This looks really good from you. Oh, good stop on that tree, too.
Yeah, had some pace on that.
Up next on the pad, also at 11 under par as a co-leader, Luke Taylor.
You were not going to come up short.
No, I'm not. I'm done ending up in those trees on the right side.
Luke's going to go forehand as well. I'm not sure what that disc is, but it's the exact same one he threw in round 1. You can tell from the die. Oh, a little early for him.
Hey, left it a little wide
Time for
first
third
round,
place,
trying to
sitting
make
at
a correction
8 under par
and
after day
you know,
one.
overcorrection
Andrew
on the
Marwede.
side. And that disc was his nuke. I know he throws that quite a
Oh,
bit.
is it really? Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Andy taking a higher line. And
Oof. That's not good.
And finishing off our group, also at -8, Ben Vansumeren.
yeah, a lot of wind on this one. I think it may be a left to right wind, kind of pushing the disc into the trees.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, you left that one a little wider.
Yeah, this is looking like a better line.
Get a nice roll. Oh, never mind. Hits the tree that you hit. You guys are probably sitting next to each other.
Yeah, but if he didn't hit that tree, he's still going to be right there.
Yeah, he's...
I was going to be on the walking path about 45 feet past.
Oh, come on.
Such a good putt.
Smile on his face early. Hey, you said it at the end of their round 1. He doesn't get upset about it. He just gets better.
Yeah, he gets revenge.
Good putt from you. Keeping the good vibes going. You had a great start. First 6 holes, if I'm not mistaken, in round 1. So, like you had said as well, that you're really looking to get 4 out of the first 6, maybe 5. How do you approach mentally like a second round? So you got the first 6 in round 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's difficult to repeat that process, right? So if you miss a hole, what are you telling yourself to be like, hey, like, that's okay? Like, this is still in the game plan? Like, what are you telling yourself if you fall off that perfect track through these first 6 holes?
Well, it's a 3-round tournament. So, you know, if you miss a couple holes, then, I mean, 3 holes in a row out of 54 holes that we're playing, you know, that's a really small piece of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're going to be out here, you know, playing disc golf for a total of, you know, 10 hours, 12 hours. So if you have a little blip for a little bit, then you just have to shake it off and keep on playing. You know, no one's going to play perfect for the entire time. So you just have to take advantage of it when you're playing well and try to keep the confidence high.
Didn't take us very long for our first star frame, by the way. We got it on hole 1 rather than hole 12 this time.
Yeah, well done by the lead card.
Are we going back to that forehand? This looks a little turned.
A little flex on that, but it's going to come back and get on edge. Circle's edge putt.
And now Ben is going to play backhand here. You can see it's a little chilly. He's got a glove on the non-throwing hand there.
Yeah, especially with the wind. When we're in the shade, it gets really
Chilly
really cold.
fast. Half bid, half layup there from Ben. He's going to tap in a par.
Yeah, this is a very, very windy, so it was tough to give this a full bid. Andy right at circle's edge. Sneaks it in. Well done. 2 good putts in a row for Andy. I think he's got any kinks that he had first round. I think he's got those cleaned up.
Got them out, yeah. Which is almost a scarier thought. Luke, on the other hand, might have something to work through. That one was very low. Maybe he was looking for a wind lift there or something.
Yeah, very low, kind of fluttery too. I think he just didn't get the release on it that he wanted.
Got a few, well, several. Marwede's going to just take a stroke here on the card. Going to be 2 back now of our 2 co-leaders here as we move on to hole 3, 605 feet. You have the play over the road, which will be most common here with your forehand play. You don't need, how much distance do you really want and how much do you need off the tee to really make this hole easier?
You know, you would like to be ideal, probably 350 feet, but you only need like 270 to 300. As long as you get past, you see these first couple trees, that one kind of lone tree on the right, not the 2 grouped up in the front that, yeah, actually right where Andy's at, because he threw his pretty short.
Yeah.
Which was intentional.
Yeah.
It was very windy today, so I don't think you're going to see as many aggressive lines.
Did you just bounce off his disc? What?
That's why it went so far.
Now, dang it, Marwede. Last time I let you throw first. He throws that so effortlessly.
Once again, he throws really committed over the road, and I mean that same shot as yesterday. He threw that really well.
This time without the tree in his way.
Ben electing for a backhand. I think just a comfort thing, and that's going to be a really good shot. It's really far down there. It got past those last couple trees. And he's going to have just a little chip up to the basket.
Yeah, with no OB on the right side, there's no downside for that, right? You can just kind of pump one over the top. It does make the approach potentially more difficult, though.
I think Andy probably only threw it maybe 300 feet off of the tee, but you can see that keeps him wide open, no trees in his way. Placed it right where he wanted to. I'm having to throw a little bit of a flex line because that last tree is gives me a bit of a low ceiling. So throwing something very overstable and trying to keep it from going into the road long.
Yeah, I was going to say you're flexing towards out of bounds. Luke with a much better lie than yesterday.
And a much better approach.
Yeah, he's not panicking about just shanking it over the road with the zone or whatever it was.
Same result.
Yes.
But less stress.
Ben with his backhand approach needs to get around that tree and does.
Ben goes backhand. Not a ton of people do that on that hole, but worked well for him.
Not common. Oh, not coming out of your hand right there.
Yeah, it got really cold in this corner here. We're in the shade and just not getting the pop on my fingers, and maybe the same thing for Ben there. Just maybe a little nerves too.
Honestly, the biggest surprise for this round to start the round is Marwede wearing shorts. Did not see that coming.
What was he doing?
I don't know. I mean, just to be clear, he has told people he's not going to play at 70 degrees because it's too cold. So, it's 50-something, and he came out in shorts. I was like, not on my bingo card, let me tell you what.
No. Andy in shorts.
It better be 80.
I think he's the only person out here wearing shorts.
Probably. Maybe it was a psychological game.
It's working so far, 3 in a row.
Hole 4, let's see if he can make it 4 in a row. 786 feet. You're going to see a lot of these guys kind of take the drone path here. They're going to try to take left of this bush, give themselves a couple options to approach the basket. You really need to avoid this last tree by the basket in red. This is your last kind of guardian as you come into this pinch green, OB Road and OB Path, where you saw that biker go on the right side.
So off the tee, you're really just trying to get past this first bush. You don't want to land in the bush and pick a side. Looks like Andy was probably trying to go right side. Maybe not. He just placed it perfectly on the left side. So it was going right. I thought he was taking the right.
I thought
right
he did
side.
in round 1. I thought that's where he was going too. He threw the same disc too, the same flippy hurricane or whatever that is.
But you can see this wind's making this tee shot. Maybe that right side is just not accessible.
Maybe he thought he threw it perfectly. It just scooted that way anyway.
Well, he did, just not where he thought he was throwing it.
Giving a rip on this one.
Yeah, just trying to get it flat and knowing that once it starts hyzering, that wind's just going to take it to the left side.
It's like you placed it right like you did in last round. Right in the same spot almost.
Let's see if we can get the same result.
This
It
is...
looked a little early, but it had some turn on it. I think he's actually going to hyzer out to a really good spot.
very nice there from Ben.
I thought that first tree was going to be in his way, but no, he threw the right disc and put himself in a good spot.
Marwede's a little farther back. Is actually opting to the forehand here. Whoa. Whoa. What is going on? Oh, Jesus.
And he's going straight at the basket.
I've seen people go up and over and try to hyzer it in. I've seen people... I did not flip up.
The flip up is very dangerous with as much wind as we have here. You know, you see, I'm just electing for a pretty safe hyzer, not attacking the basket too aggressively.
Right.
Because, I mean, being 400 feet from the basket, you know, downhill, playing 360, it's still a very tough shot with all that wind. And Andy threw a very technical shot and it worked out.
Yeah, hopefully he was rewarded for it.
And I think this is going to have a little too much hyzer.
Yeah, there it goes. On the road and over. That will be out of bounds for Ben. He'll take it back. It'll be probably circles 2 edge, some deep circle 2 at best for his par look.
And Luke's going to have to throw, I think, a little bit of a flex on this. Yeah, he threw that pretty flat and pretty perfect.
He tickled the exact same branch both rounds on that right side. Like it's really hard to see because there's no leaves to it, but he tickled it both times, and he said, "Well, I birdied it last, round 1. Why not tickle it again?"
Yeah, aim at the same branch. It worked for you first round.
Oh my, Ben nearly just draining that from distance.
Yeah, I thought that was in. The wind just kept it up just a
Yeah.
little bit too long.
Another one low for you. Yeah, you can see you're gesturing. You want that. You got to commit. Get it in the air.
Yep, just don't quite have the putter yet, but this guy does.
He's got his cloud-themed shirts, sky-looking themed shirts going on.
He's got 3 out of 4 good putts
Yeah.
for, pretty early in this round. So
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
he's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not sure how momentum-based Marwede is. I haven't seen him enough outside of just here in Michigan, but like a lot of players, when you get that first putt, kind of gets you rolling downhill. I don't think he needs that first putt to do it. But I imagine when you get something like this going on where he's made 3 now, he might be feeling fairly invincible on the putting green right now.
Yeah, and that's scary for the rest of us.
It's scary for everyone else because he can reach every hole. Hole 5, 274 feet. You saw the drone take it. You want to go hyzer if you can with a forehand. If the wind we saw in round 1 was pretty gusty, so they kind of left it far left and let the disc work its way back. Looks like we're going to see more of that today.
Andy keeping a little bit shorter this round, doesn't get the nasty roll that he had first round, and puts himself inside the bullseye.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty far left.
It is, but that's what you have to do when it's this windy. And lucky to not bounce. That just sat down
On a
perfectly.
Yeah, pretty packed dirt, too. It's going to be our Disc Golf Threads replay of the round here. Look good, feel good, play good at your next event. Check out discgolfthreads.com for all your apparel needs. He left it really wide left, really committed to it. It's a very overstable disc, obviously, and gets it right before the wood chips. I think that's the only reason he didn't get that big pop is he kind of hit one little last patch of dirt before it's going to just sail.
Spiked right up next to the basket. Might even touch the pole, and I said, I like that. I'm going to do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm going to take that route. That was a pretty good one. Hey, here's the backhand.
There it is. Yeah, you got to hit a gap with the backhand. But when it's windy, you can throw it a lot lower, and you don't have to play with the wind as much.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy is furthest out.
Come on, Marwede. This is a forehand hole.
Yeah, we got up there, and we had to remind him it was his turn to putt because he thought
That's right.
There's no way that I'm
Whose turn is
furthest
it?
out.
I'm like 10. I'm like 6 feet. Who's close? It's me. Oh my! It's too funny. I almost wish someone had just said like 25, 26, just counting for him. Be like, who's you counting for? You got to go. Hole 6 now, 312 feet. One of the easiest holes. You had mentioned this last round. This is a really gettable hole. You'll see some forehands. I think the backhand shapes really well if you can get it to kind of flatten out on the right side of the tree where the drone is coming right now. I think it shapes up really well for that. We'll see if anyone can make this hole a little easier. We had some big putts on this hole. Marwede had one big one on the left side.
Yeah, and it's a little windier today, so really trying to keep that disc low and away from that wind, because especially if you're throwing the forehand, the wind can kind of carry it and spike to the right of the basket. Luke throws a little bit of a flip up. I think that might have been zone.
Yeah, I think it is a zone.
Yeah, really well done.
It's so interesting to see him play with his bag this year. You opting to forehand this round too because of the wind. He thought it must have been more favorable. But if you watch like Luke's coverages out in River City and at this course, like I think even last year, he was throwing his bag. Everything was big Anheuser because it's super overstable and he's pumping it. I mean, he's like, you can see he's making an effort even though it's smooth. And now like he's throwing nukes forehand and he makes it look effortless and getting the same distance and just making it look really, really smooth.
Yeah, he's been working on his bag for I think the last 2 years. A lot of the discs that he's been throwing and really started to dial it in.
Well, it might not have looked like we were going to have a star frame, but we're looking like that right now.
And good putt from Andy and Luke with the CTP. Give us another star frame, 2 in a row.
Marby's looking like your scorecard right now from round 1.
That he is.
6 down, which is a dangerous thing when you see you, Luke, or Sam kind of with that momentum. You never know if it's going to stop. And hole 7. See, I did it. I told you I would do it. 382 feet is one of the more difficult holes to birdie as a par 3. It's very protected in its green. If you're going to take the center gap, you got to hit the right angle. Marby doesn't like to take the center gap. He wants to throw wide.
Well, he likes throwing a hyzer. I think it's a little safer. You're not going to end up in the trees on the right-hand side, which if you kick super early is just absolute jail and brings 4 into play. But again, going to push it a little bit long and probably... I don't want to say anything for sure yet, but might be ending his birdie streak.
Luke missed early right in round 1, just missed even farther right. He's well short of the intended fairway there.
you can see the wind is really picking up on this. And so we're all really having to play with that. And yeah, I kind of make that mistake of going early right there. I think I'm going to have enough distance to at least be able to punch out towards the basket, but yeah, not a great shot. And Ben flexing through the trees. Looks like he's going to hit a tree and kind of keep himself out of the really bad trees there, and maybe have a chance at a putt.
Huge shout out to Nick Gill for this hole, for acing.
Yeah, very nice shot.
This is a sick hole to ace.
This is the second time he has aced this hole in tournament. I believe River City Open 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just got this hole on lock.
I need him to make coverage so I can film him do it.
Well,
next time.
You have to wait, not next year, but the following year. He's due for it again.
Oh, it's an every other thing? It's like Ferris State?
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
What? That's what they did. They won every odd year for a long time. It was cool. Like, that's where my smart money was going.
But you want to get them all.
I'm not saying that they weren't good. I wasn't rooting for them. I'm just saying 2019 came around. I put all my money where it should have gone.
Oh, and Andy had a putt there. I thought he was a lot further in the trees than he ended up. And unfortunately, hits that one off the band. And will be ending his birdie streak. And man,
Ben gets a push out there.
Yeah, it was a little right side, but gosh, you hope that one goes in.
Right. Luke gets his par save. This hole averaged 2.93, just a little bit under par.
Yeah, to be expected, especially with as much wind as there was today. It's really hard to get a disc straight enough if you're throwing that center gap to finish by the basket for a putt.
That's going to take us over to hole 8, maybe the most infamous hole on this course. It's the Horseshoe, 795 feet. Mando on the big tree there on the left side. What's the ideal landing zone if you want to go for the eagle on this hole?
Ideal landing zone is going to be that right where that person in the white is standing. So either that inside gap or where the drone is taken right here. And you're probably going to take actually the left side gap, probably not where the drone is flying, to get anywhere up into this area, hopefully by these trees, to give yourself an upshot inside maybe 150 feet for, and 3 shots to get yourself a 4.
Yeah. I do like the design. The drone taking the right side is kind of the, hey, I didn't get in the perfect landing zone.
It is.
And so what can I do to still attack the basket? It's to take the wide gap. We saw a couple players do that last round as well. Looks like Marwede might need to take that gap as he is clipped very early.
He may. And if he has he might need to throw something like a little flippy kind of at that back fence line and let it turn. Mm-hmm. And as long as you're on top of the hill after your second shot, you have a shot at birdie.
Right.
Just taking that, I guess traditional gap as the hole is technically probably designed is, just makes the hole a little longer.
Right. I mean, you can call it the eagle gap or the birdie gap. Is that what we're going to call it from now on?
No.
Okay, fair enough. You're right. It was a bad idea. Ben here, turning this one over a little bit. And
no, that was actually looking really good.
Yeah, it looked like it already started to flatten out, too.
It was going to. I actually really like, you can see Ben having to deal with the same thing that Luke and I did the first round, where we didn't make it past the Mando, and because the shape of this hole being kind of like a U, he has to stand, and myself as well, kind of in what looks like in front of my disc.
Right.
Because the basket is actually to my left.
It just looks so weird. Oh, there's Marwede going to check something.
I think he might have been spotting a good landing zone. I think he saw that maybe he didn't really have a shot and want to put himself position.
Right.
Because you can get to the basket from where he's at.
And forehand is good for that shot, too.
With a good forehand. And is he going to sneak through there? I think he does.
He's most of the way up there, clips a couple trees late. Again, huge shout out to spotters. I didn't say this soon enough to go out there and spot for us. This is a lose your disc area if you don't have someone there to sort through the leaves for you.
Absolutely. The spotters all weekend were incredible, and the leaves are coming down all weekend. So the trees that you see in round 1 are going to look different than the trees that you see in round 3.
It's going to look just a little different every time.
I decided to go to a backhand roller just because I was in a little bit of an awkward spot where an air shot wasn't going to get me all the way to the basket. So if I got it on the right angle, I thought maybe it'll get me down there.
Right.
But
you made a comment about that to the card, right? That you don't normally throw the roller, and you had 2 standstill rollers back-to-back rounds.
Yeah, if I think what I said is if you're throwing a standstill roller at Brewer Park, you're not having a good hole, and I did it 2 rounds in a row on coverage. So, we didn't. I could still birdie.
Yeah, I mean, we could
It's
still
still
save
possible.
this one. You parred the one other time you did it, so it hasn't. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So
Let's go.
No, I did par.
Okay. Luke from distance here, pretty similar from round 1. Is this your camera work too?
It is. I'm actually to the right of him this round.
Oh, okay.
Trying to film it. Yeah. He knows. He had that putt first round, wanted to get it.
Yeah. Got to practice at it. This needs to sit down. A little too high. Floated left for Marwede there. He'll have this left for his par, I believe.
You know, Andy's really able to put kind of the right pace on his putt. So with as windy as it is and as high as he threw it, a lot of other players, they're going to hyzer 30 feet left of the basket. He throws it with a good amount of spin, flat, but just not too hard. And so even though he didn't make that putt, he was just tapping it in.
Right. Hole 9 to wrap up our front 9 here. 667 feet, par 4. Sam, what's the game plan to walk away with a birdie?
You want to throw something pretty flat, maybe a little bit of a hyzer to land anywhere in this area. And ideal upshot is going to be a forehand, miss those 2 trees. And there's going to be some roots to the right of the basket that you'd like to avoid. Don't want to hit one of those and stand up and roll. Key on the tee shot here is just keep it clean and throw it as far as possible.
This and the next hole's green are a little fascinating to me because a lot of times when there's like sand around the base of both of these baskets, this one and the next one. Mm-hmm. And they put some wood chips down too for Worlds that were held at this course this year too. And but this one in particular, it feels like every year the sand that's around that basket is getting firmer every year, because if we go back to 2019, 2020 in that era, I mean, if you had a disc even catch an edge around the base of that basket at all, it'd sit because it's soft enough sand. And now, as you know, you're talking about those rollaway potentials, this basket has slowly but surely evolved that layer of difficulty to that hole because it's changed like that. What are other nuances you've noticed here at Brewer over the years that holes, that even though they haven't really changed in design, have changed in difficulty because this tree's been removed or fell or stuff like that?
Well, hole 8 that we just played, the gap that the drone flew was pretty much the gap to play. And then there were a couple of trees that just from storms and just from dying off fell on that inside gap. And see, there's that roll I was talking about.
Foreshadowing.
But yeah, so that has opened up the inside gap.
Sure.
And that makes a lot of players will tend to favor that. And I mean, even on the second shot, there is kind of a third gap to the further left heading towards the short basket where as long as you get somewhere in that landing zone off of the tee shot, then there is a way to get to the basket.
Manufacture it, right?
You'll have something.
Approach shots here for the card are looking much better than last round.
Yeah. We all so far just have some easy forehands into the basket, and like I said, just have to miss that last tree, and
Yeah.
the hill's going to slow it down. Andy's going to be furthest out. And
He's had a couple of those now where he's furthest out in like 15 feet.
yeah.
Guys are like, no. You got to throw this close, Marvin.
You know, that feels good as a card. This is
Yeah.
looking to be likely to be our third star frame of the round.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you would expect to see that too on a lead card here because everyone hopefully has been playing well up to this point. Ben right now just has a couple hiccups there, keeping his score from really kind of going in the direction he wants it to. Taking a look at scores right now, Luke has extended to a solo lead of 3 strokes. Marwede's caught up strokes with you. You both are tied. Then Ben a little farther back than that. We're going to see how things shake down on the back 9. A little easier, but with the wind, anything can happen. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Sam, thank you so much for joining me.
Halfway done.
That's right, halfway there.